What's up YouTube, Mr. Lemon here, and today I'm going to teach you how to map hack in your mind. So, what do I mean by map hack in your mind? Well, there is a lot in Diablo 2 that you just learn from studying maps and playing the game and all of this, and many of the pieces, many people have just not learned. They just simply do not know anything about that. So I'm going to grab some potions really fast, and we will jump into, I will be showing you all and everything of the maps all the way through the game. Ignore this character, she's like halfway set up right now. So I'll be taking you all the way through and giving you examples of what you need to know. But before we do that, we are going to dive into our handy dandy paint, because there is a couple of things that you need to know for this. Number one is that maps are procedurally generated. Well, some maps are procedurally generated, some maps are fully set, and some maps have variations of these sets. So essentially there are your three things. So number one, you have your fixed maps, right? Your fixed map is going to just always be the exact same thing. And you know, like Chaos Sanctuary is a pretty good example. Obviously you have a little bit of, you know, the different, like you can have each different wing for it, but it's a pretty good example there of, you know, how it could be, right? It's like, here is an example, Chaos Sanctuary, and that is going to be set. And again, each of these wings can change into a one of two forms, right? So that's the first one. The second one is where you have the different variations of the maps. So for example, this could be the Outer Cloister, and this is one that you will learn right here. I will teach you. There are three setups in the Outer Cloister. The first one is the waypoint here. The second one is the waypoint over here. And the third one is the waypoint right up here. Now, what does this mean? If you come in and you see the waypoint in this bottom left corner, this is the correct exit out of this Outer Cloister. If you come in here and you have this cross in the middle and the waypoint's in the top right, this is the correct exit out of the Outer Cloister. And if you come into the Outer Cloister and there is no cross in the center here, but you have the waypoint in the top right, then this is the way out of the Outer Cloister. So there are only three maps here, and again, it's just picking one of the three maps that you will have, and you can know exactly which way to go, right? So that is how that works. Additionally, you have, you know, the same sorts of maps, static maps, in like the Flare Jungle level 3. So you're going to have very specific maps down there where the chest is up here. You're going to have one where the chest is, you know, in here and you have to go around this way. You're going to have one where, you know, the chest is over here. Right. So you're going to have those. And the third one, the third type, is the procedurally generated, and I have an entire video where I break down literally how it builds all of these. And this is where most of the game is, and where you're going to be learning what are tiles and how the tiles function. So for example, in like the Catacombs, right, you're going to have like, okay, this tile, and then that'll be there, and then you'll have, you know, this tile that's going to have this like this, and you're going to have that tile that's going to have two doors like this. And all of these are tiles that are going to be set, and you are going to learn as they all piece together, right? So that will be something I will show you here shortly. So to start out, we have the Bloodmoor. And a lot of the Bloodmoor is based on, you can know pretty quickly which way you're going to go. But basically, town is going to have one of the four exits, and then you're going to have the exits off of that for which way it's going to take you. So pretty much, of course, you're just following the path through the Bloodmoor. Cold Plains is the first place that you're really going to kind of be learning something. I guess one thing is, in the Bloodmoor, you have the Den of Evil. And with the Den of Evil, there are a couple of things. The Den of Evil is made up of 3 tiles, so we'll be talking about tiles a lot. The first tile I'm going to highlight right here. This is the first tile. So when I say tile, it is not just like this little piece right here. This entire thing is the first tile. Okay? This will connect only to the top right, and it will connect to this tile, which has been highlighted here. That is the second tile. And that one is connecting to the third tile, which is right here. Now, knowing how Den of Evil generates, and honestly, somebody said even maybe it generates as like there's 8 static or whatever. But essentially, you will know exactly which way you're going to go because this tile will always connect to the top right, which will always connect to the top left. So as soon as I entered this Den of Evil, I could have drawn you what this was going to look like, right? So let's move on. Cold Plains is the first kind of interesting place. Something I want to explain about a lot of maps is a lot of maps are, and again, we're going to open up our paint. A lot of maps are squares. But they're squares that then have different things, right? So you're going to have this, and you're going to have that, and you're going to have this, and, you know, whatever, right? And so it's a square, but then this is what the map actually ends up looking like right here. And so you don't always think of it, this is your entrance, you don't always think of it as a square, but it is a square. There is just blocked out space of the square. So you can see right here, right, if I go ahead and just get this entire map really fast, you will see it is a giant square, even though it has these indents that make it seem like, oh, maybe it's not. But again, it is just a whole square, right? Simple as that. Now, from this, can you tell me which way the Stony Field is and which way the Cold Plain is? Because the Cold Plains, or the Burial Grounds is. Because the Cold Plains, of course, has 2 exits. One to the Burial Grounds, one to the Stony Field. And if you followed my mouse, the Burial Grounds is the top right, the Stony Field is the bottom left. And of course we know this because the way that the path is close to the wall. So essentially, if the path is pretty near to the wall, it is going to be the Burial Grounds. If the path is more towards the center, it is going to be the Stony Field. And there is essentially some lines. I'm going to just pull up paint again for this one. There is essentially some lines that you're basically going to kind of be looking at. So you're basically looking in like these sorts of areas. Maybe like a little bit more there. And a little bit more like here. So anything in like, I even want to spread that one. Anytime you come across something in the corners like this, and it's not always directly in the corner, sometimes there's a little bit of space, it's the Burial Grounds, and then the Stony Field is kind of lying anywhere within this space right here. So there's a little more room for the Stony, but you can see like this, not from this, but from this corner all the way up here, is far enough away that this is more within the center bounds, and thus it is the Stony Field. So again, we'll head over here and go to the Stony Field. Stony Field, first thing really to note about it is the stones are always right off the path, with very few exceptions where there are other objects constantly blocking it off the path, and then it kind of pushes it further away. I've seen some pretty interesting wild maps, another unique, but it is always somewhere off the path. So a lot of times if you want to find the Stony Field, all you need to do is walk the path and then just kind of check a little bit off of the path, right? And you'll be able to find it. It'll take you to your underground passage. Underground passage, you again can know certain things, such as this entrance tile. And this is an example of a really good like procedurally generated map. this is tiles. And here's where we're going to first really dive into tiles and one of the most important things about tiles and what you need to know about them. So for instance, I know coming in here that I need to go to the bottom right to move forward and get beyond this tile. How do I know that? Because of this starting tile, there's this little like square piece right here. This is one that is a part of this. So again, if I go through and tally all around, here is my starting tile. And I'm even going to snip this and really show it to you. This is my starting tile. Okay? Probably cuts off right about there. So, what do we know from this tile? We know the exit is this way, which means, and this is where we're going to get into something that I will be using a lot to explain, so you will want to know this. This is going to be heading out this way, which means from here on out, this will be right, this will be left, and this will be straight. So this is how we talk about tiles within Diablo 2. Okay? This is how we talk about tiles. It is from the way that you came in, and it's not these stairs. It is the way you come in. Whenever you enter in a tile like this, you essentially get a direction, and that direction here is to the bottom right. Thus, this is now your straight path. This is your right, your left, and center. So if I say right of the way you came in, it's not over here, it is down here. Okay? So this is all about map reading. So, how does this game generate tiles? Again, I have a whole thing that talks about how it generates them all out, but essentially there is a certain number of tiles that it's going to be using, give or take a couple, and then it has specific special tiles that it's going to be placing. It's going to fill some things in, and then it's going to change out some tiles. So for instance, like this tile right here could be a special tile that normally isn't a tile that gets used, so it'll put this tile here and then it'll change it with a shaman spawning one. Again, go watch that video for all that. You'll need to know all that. But essentially, I'm going to grab just like 3 tiles. Right? So let's do a snip. And let's do this and grab this. And let's take it into paint, where we can now kind of give some showcase of it. So again, our first tile is here. Your tiles are going to be the same size, by the way. Our second tile is here. And our third tile is here. Right? So already we've got tile number 1, tile number 2, tile number 3. As such, you don't need to like number them and think about that, but that's just how they are. And this is how it will build from then on out the tiles of where they can be. So again, this tile will only connect to the bottom right. So if you immediately learn that as soon as you come in, you know this tile won't go this way. This tile won't go this way. You know to immediately run down here and go here, which is very helpful. Additionally, you can know like, okay, this tile is a dead end, so I need to go this way. You can know this tile is going to want to go this way and maybe go up that way. So you can learn about the connections of all of that, which is very helpful. So studying each of those, but just knowing about the tiles. Now, the important thing here, again, all of how you learn all the procedurally generated stuff is maybe a little too complex, but where you will get some easier map hack in your mind is knowing that there are special tiles, and this is the important piece of what you need to know. For instance, to the left of the way you came in is the cave level 2, or the underground passage level 2, and straight from the way that you came in is the exit to the dark woods. This will always be the case 100%. Thus, if I came in towards the bottom right, I need to go up here to find the cave, underground passage level 2, right there, and I need to go down to the bottom right to get my exit. And again, this is the exit tile, is this whole piece, which is facing this way. So these are the really, really important pieces that you need to know. Is you are entering towards the bottom right, and it will always have a tile in the underground passage that is going to be facing top left. Thus, you will always be exiting straight of the way you came in. Now, one important thing to note with this, it's a little far, but we will make it work. One important thing to note is you will not always, thank you, Alexander, have this tile right here. This tile could be up here. This tile could be down here. This tile could be, you know, let me get really wild with it. This tile could be up here, like this. And you could have some crazy map where this goes here, and then goes around, and goes like this, and then ends up connecting this way. And you had to do some whole roundabout 3 rights, 3 lefts, make a right, 3 rights, make a left sort of nonsense, right? So the tile is not always going to be to the bottom right in that you just run like this way, like this, but the tile is going to be facing this way. So you know, okay, I want to head this way. It'll be easier to explain when we get to the tower for sure. So let us continue forward. Dark wood. Dark wood, you can just kind of know some general stuff with the map of where it's going to be taking you. But basically a lot of the stuff is where you're coming out of, like the cave and all of that. For instance, if you come out and it is like a hole, if you come out of the underground passage into the dark wood and it's a hole, then you always will go to the top left. That's just something to know. Otherwise, like this cave, a lot of times will be over here to this way. You can just follow the path though, right? Again, you don't need to learn everything. Now, let's find the tower, because tower is very important. A lot of people run the tower a lot of times, and there's a lot of stuff. Tower's pretty easy. Every single level is to the left of the way you came in. Thus, again, we have our tiles, and I always want to go left of the way I came in. This tile exits to the bottom right. Thus, left is to the top right. Right? Because if you turn it all, if you do a nice rotation on it, let's put it in paint and do this, and then rotate 180 degrees. Maybe that was not right. Rotate 90 to the left. There you go. This is the way we came in. Thus, we want to go left of the way we came in. Right? Because this is your straight, since there is only the exit of this tile right here. And you have this tile, then you have this tile, then you have this tile, then you have this tile. Right? So those are your 5 tiles. Okay, so level 2, same thing. I want to go left of the way I came in, which you can see now is stacked on top of it. But again, when I'm describing left of the way I came in, I'm describing the way the tile will be facing. So again, you could run into a situation, and here I'll go ahead and draw something up for you. I'll just do this. This can be right here. This can be right here. This can be up here like this, and then you have to go and connect, you know, through here and then up and around over there. Or this could even be back here. And so your map will literally just look like this. And you have to go around. So again, all of that I am describing with left of the way you came in, straight, right of the way you came in, is the way that the end tile is going to be facing, and thus giving you pretty good chances, of course, that it's going to be like this, but it does not exclude from things being around in that way. So let's continue. Left of the way we came in. Impossible. Left of the way we came in. And Act 5, or Tower Level 5, is one of 2 set maps. One faces to the top right, the other faces to the top left. And pretty simple, right? Pretty basic. Excuse me. So, those are how they work. Let me grab some portals. And we will jump back out to the Black Marsh. Black Marsh, you're just heading again, following the path. Tomoe Highland is always just going to be straight up. It's a set map that always is just going right up to the Monastery gate. And again, First quiz, 3 set maps in the outer cloister. We have a cross in the middle with the top right waypoint. Which way do we go? Top left, top right, or bottom right? That is right. We go to the top right. That is the way into the barracks. Now the barracks is going to have 2 things. You're going to have a left of the way you come in and a straight of the way you come in. One of those will be the hammer. One of those will be the exit. There you can see that is straight, that is left. And there is no known way currently of which one is which. But there is nothing that is ever right of the way you came in. So you know if you find one, the other one is the other way. But essentially I usually just run for the left. In the jail level 1, left of the way you come in is the waypoint. Straight is the exit. Right there. Jail level 2, there is just left of the way you come in is the boss. Right here, hit spawn. He is a set unique boss that will always be there. And straight of the way you come in, and this is a great example, is the exit. And here you can see, you would think it'd be like up here or up there, but nope, this map goes up, down, and then here's the tile right there. So there's only one exit coming from this bottom right to the top left. Thus, straight of the way you come in is level 3. And level 3 is left of the way you enter. So I'm just always going to hug this left side, essentially, and I'm able to find the inner cloister. Nice and easy. Inner cloister is set. Cathedral is set, so there's nothing changed about that. Catacombs is pretty much a mixed bag of procedural generation where your best bet is to learn things such as this is always a dead end. If there is one door here and one not door here and you see this, you don't even need to see the back of this. As soon as you see this and this right here, you know that that is a dead end tile. We know that there is a tile here and there's a boss group right here because this tile will always spawn a boss group. So this is the other piece, is not only when you're learning tiles are you learning about the ways of the maps and all that, but you're actually learning which tiles have guaranteed boss spawns on them, which can be really helpful for knowing about when you're magic finding and all of this. So this tile right here with the 2 doors and the little extra right there will always have a boss group with it. Over here, that tile you can know is a dead end as well before you get to it. And whenever you see this right here, this is the exit. So this little like double opening with that, you'll know the exit is there. Level 2, the only thing you can know is right, again, besides tiles, is right of the waypoint. So if I find this and I want to find the waypoint, which way should I go if this is right of the waypoint? The answer would be to the top. Because if you go and do your little mind math with it and we snip it, we know this would be like this. If it wasn't so, you know, whatever. So this is right. If it was like nice and easy, this is right of the waypoint. Thus, even when it's down here and it's further to this side, we know, okay, that is how that is. Level 3, again, there is nothing except just knowing the tiles, but I just happened upon this Catacombs level 4. I could have searched this entire area and I'm just learning and knowing which tiles. Oh, this tile is going to turn into a dead end. I'll turn around, all of that. Level 4 is of course set. And that is all of act number 1. Can I show more patterns for dead ends in Catacombs? Yeah, let's see if we can find a couple. So there's one right here. This is a dead end. So this is a very common one you'll run into whenever you're going to the bottom left. You'll find this one. And after seeing that a couple times, you'll know. There's one to the top left. Of course, here's this same one with the guaranteed boss. There is our guaranteed boss, the same one we saw before. There's one going to the top left that I don't currently see. Maybe it'll be over here. Yeah, this one. So you'll always know whenever you run up and see that with like the glowing in all these torches that's going to be a dead end. There's one to the top right that is very similar to this. It is also just like that, and it has a guaranteed champion pack in it. You also have the guaranteed champion pack. So let me grab paint really fast. So in like there's this, and it has like a door right here and a door right here. And you know, it's got like the walls, whatever. This always has a guaranteed champion pack in it. But that's not a dead end. But the dead end one is up at the top. You'll run into it here, and this will have like a door right here, and then this will be more open. This always will have a champion pack at the back. So that's a great place to look for like champion fallens and shamans and all that stuff. The one that was over there is this little like connector one. This one is a dead end that you'll find going up into the top left. And it's like a short door in the middle with the door. If you see like a long one, then it continues through. So that's one you'll just have to like see. You'll know when I'm talking about it. Or when you see it after a few times. And yeah, again, just like learning all of the tiles is super helpful. Act 2 town is, of course, pretty set. It has two variations, one to the top left, one to the top right. The one to the top right can be nice because you can shop Drognin really quickly. Sewers level 1. So the first thing is there's two entrances to the sewers level 1, of course, for those who know that. Right down here, of course, you can enter. And this one is usually closer to the sewers level 2, so a lot of times people will just go down here to get into the sewers level 2. Just a nice, easy thing to do. Sewers level 2 to the left is the waypoint, and then straight across is level 3. And sewers level 3 to the left is Radaman. So, pretty simple in the sewers. Let's go outside. So Act 2 maps are going to be that similar idea. Let me just open paint up actually. That similar idea of squares. Okay, so again, get back to the squares. It is just big squares connecting, and your exits and entrances are all in the corners. So let's say that we're first, coming through right here in the bottom left. And you're either entering in the bottom left or bottom right, depending on, or right this way, depending on if your town layout is like this or like this, right? So if I'm entering here, first off, there is no, well, it depends on the map. In the Rocky Waste, I can have an exit right here, an exit right here, right here, right here, right here, or right here. These are the 6 exits that I can have, and again, they are always in the corners. Thus, I can head here, check this, head over to here, check this, head here, check this, right, check, and then check like this. So I know I don't need to check anything on this bottom. I know that like anything in this middle I don't need to check. If any of these are just the ways that I'm checking. So that's the first thing. Once you get out of the Rocky Waste, let's say I'm going to the Dry Hills, there is no longer an immediate exit off of the Dry Hills. Thus, my exits will be all of these. And then for the Lost City, you're going to have no exits down in the bottom. You just can't get exits down here. So your exits will be here, here in these sections. And these are all I'm checking. The other thing to note is you're either going to have maps with a stairs like this, somewhere along the line of this, right? And it's going to just be a split map in half like that. Or you're going to have like this, or, with the stairs right here, right? One of these two. So you're either going to have a map that has 3 up top and 1 bottom, or 2 up top, 2 bottom. So that's just the thing to first note about Act 2, and we can go out and show it. So the first thing I do is check for a quick exit. I don't have it. So now I can go up, top, check for a second exit. I don't have it. Go over here, and we have this exit here. So this is the exit, right? And again, these are squares. So I will again go through and do this because this will also be a good way to show a little bit more. There's our exit. So again, even though they don't feel very square-like because of how the indents work with it all, if you take a nice look at it, it is doot, 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 doot. Right? Now, the important thing to note for these and what can really help you is knowing how the corners work. So essentially, and it might even be better to just grab this snip of it. Let's just grab this. So essentially, we have our entrance over here, right? And here is, let me do red. Here is our, like, square. It's pretty bad. Just pretend like that's all perfect. Here's our square. If you have just this, like, little indent, you will know there is no exit here. So if I'm running down like this and I see this indent, I know I don't need to, like, go over here and check anything. This right here will cancel out anything there. And same up here. If you look up top, there is a similar idea where it's like that. And I know, okay, there is not that because I can kind of tell when I'm going up to this that this is going to just be fully blocked off. Where you will have it is this bottom where you have either something of these lines. Like this is a known set. So for example, if I'm, you know, this is my character and I come right here and I see this wall, I will immediately know that the exit is down here. And the reason for that is because this wall is all the way up here and there is no tile that is a full block like that. So if this is close up here and I just have this little gap between the wall and that, I know this is that tile and thus there is empty room on that side. So again, small things that you can learn to improve. Yeah, you'll be able to see a lot of things there, but again, I can go and just know, you know, okay, it's there. So now we go to the dry hills, and it's actually funny because that was not the straight across, but I'm still going to have that knowledge pretty much anyways, just from that tile. So far Oasis, again, it cannot be just of the way I came in, but we came in the top left corner here, right? So we can start looking. It looks like we have a straight across map. So it's split into twos. And I'm just going to check the corners, and the first corner is it. So we found the Lost City. And again, you can know because you have this open square. And if we go check on some of these other ones, boop, we already know. What do we see? We see that same indent right there. So as soon as we hit this, we knew that there was nothing there, right? And the same idea here. There is enough space that I know this is just hitting that indent again, and that indent is going to be a no-go, right? So you can just quickly learn very easily from that. Now we're entering from the bottom left of this tile here, which means we know there is never an exit to the bottom left. We're entering from the bottom right. We know there's never an entrance to the bottom left because, again, Lost City cannot have anything on the bottom. So if I'm entering from the top left even, I know to never go down and down to this bottom because there are never exits at the bottom. So where do I check? I check up here for the first one. And here we see the indent, so we know it's not there. Then we check up here, and this will be it because we can tell just based on the spacing, right? And the more that you learn about this, the more that you'll be able to quickly identify, oh, hey, this is the top, right? Like I'm gonna snip that because that's actually a pretty good one to showcase. So we can know this is the top, right? I know that this is the top edge. So if I can just extrapolate that out, I know that the top edge is just going to run like that. So when I'm coming around here and I see this, I know that my exit is right there. Because again, there's not enough space essentially for there to be another like block. Like there just isn't. This is like the minimum amount of space that you have always. So whenever you come across and you see something like this, you just know, oh, okay, there's no room for an indent. Thus the exit's going to be there. And again, this is also knowing that the end of the map is here, because it has to be up in the corner. Because if the end of the map was like, you know, way over here or something, then there would be enough room that then the indent could be like up here and this could actually be here and whatever, right? So you can learn all of that just through those things. Cloud Viper Temple, left of the way you come in. So here you might say, hey, wait a second, Mr. Llama, there's 3, right? 3 entrances from this tile. And the best way to really determine the way you come in is opposite of the dead end of that tile. So if the back of the tile is here, that means straight is going to be this way, to the top left. Thus, I want to go left of the way I came in. And I'm able to find Claw Viper level 2, which of course is a set-specific map. Arcane Sanctuary is random. Plain and simple. There's just no knowledge. And it's not like there's no knowledge. It is basically impossible to figure out unless you have full seed knowledge and everything. So you're just kind of going around. The biggest thing I can tell you is that you'll be able to see it a little bit earlier than you might think. So a lot of times you're able to see, you know, okay, right here we can see the indent, so I don't need to go all the way down in there. If I'm going to the top right, I can see it pretty quickly. If I'm going to the top left, I'll try and show it without like seeing, you know. Like right here, I can come up here and I know. So there, it's not here because I would be able to see it from here. I'd be able to see a little bit right there. So we know that we fourth wayed because I'd be able to tell from that spot. So, you know, even here, like, you can get a good sense. You can already see the indentation. Oops. Over down that bottom left. And you know which way to go. One quick fun thing. We can know which way the summoner is, and it's square, because there's 6 of the icons, and there are 7 icons, so whichever icon is missing is the one that it is. So I don't need to check and see, and I can't even, to know which one is the correct way. I can look purely at those icons there. Now, if you do, of course, if you're playing through the game, you're going to know which symbol is the correct symbol after you do that, and thus you'll just have to know which way is the right way. So the path and the way that it goes is, the farthest to the left is circle, then you have the moon, then you have the square, then you have the sun, then you have the double down arrow, then you have the triangle, and then you have the circle over moon. So that is the 7 in that order. It is always in that order, so you'll always know which way to go to. And in the tombs, you go left of the way you came in to find Duriel. This is also a great example of a dead end tile. I know I don't have to keep looking on that, because that will always be a dead end right here. This is also a dead end tile. Whenever you come in and you see like the torches and the bed and all that, you'll also know that's a dead end tile. So I'm just continuing to try and find left of the way I came in, and it looks like I need to do a wraparound map, which we talked about before. And so I'm able to find this a little bit faster because I know all of kind of my left turns up there aren't really making sense. Thus, it's probably going to be right, 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 which is still left of the way we came in. And that is act number 2. Now, act number 3, things get a little bit confusing and a little bit spicy. And a lot of people, this is where a lot of people have a lot of issues. Act 3 is actually a little bit easier if you learn what and how Act 3 is built. So Act 3 is built as such. It is built in 6 by 2 tiles. So this is how everything of Act 3, excuse me. Everything of Act 3 is built. Let's make the image transparent. this is how it is built. So this is your spider forest. This is your great marsh. This is your flare jungle. They are just 2x6 tiles, plain and simple. Now, the thing about these 2x6 tiles is they can attach at various points. They will always attach at the 3, 5, or 6. Thus, when I'm looking for a connection from the spider forest to the great marsh, I am looking at the 3s, the 5s, and the 6s. This is to the great marsh and or the flare jungle, because I could have them connect something like this, where this goes to the great marsh and this goes to the flare jungle. Or it could connect like this, where this one goes to the flare jungle, this goes to great marsh. Or it could connect like this, where you have to go through the great marsh, right? So it's not actually that confusing when you start to learn that it is every 3rd, 5th, or 6th tile you're finding a connection, and thus you can also start ruling things out like, oh, okay, I know that because I've run into, you know, the dead end here, that this is forcing me to go through the great marsh. So as you explore, you'll be able to learn more about it as you are doing it and figure things out. Now, it is a 2x6, but it does not look like a 2x6 because you're going to have, of course, your entrances, right? So it may be like this, and then it's coming over, you know, okay, so 1 goes there, 2 like makes a way over here. Then you have like, you know, the spider cavern right there, and this goes up, and then over here you have another one where you have the waypoint and the whatever, and then you come out here, and then this goes up here, and then you have, you know, this goes like this, and this goes here, and then this connects this way, and this is where your 3rd one is, and this is, you know, the 3rd area. So this could be how your 2x6 looks right here, and thus then this would connect probably to the great marsh off of the 6, or maybe off of the 3 over here, or the 5 over here. You would have your connection to the great marsh, right? So that's just something that is good to know and easy to kind of learn as you're going through it, to help you, again, visualize the map. So one thing to note when you're trying to gauge tile size is this stuff right here. These entrances, essentially, I'm just going to call them, are 1 tile size. So that's how you can really get a good sense of like how big a tile is. And there are 3 entrances in each of the areas. You're going to have one of them that's going to have the spider cavern, one of them that's going to have the whatever the name of the other one is, I can't remember, arachnid lair and waypoint, and one that's going to have nothing and just be blank. In the Great March, you're going to have one with the waypoint, one with like nothing, and one with the gold chest. In the Flare Jungle, you're going to have one with the waypoint, one with nothing, and one with the Flare Dungeon, right? So you're going to have 3 in each of these areas, though sometimes you will find like 4th ones. And the 4th entrances then are pretty much guaranteed like connections through, right? So that does happen. It's not going to lead to another area. Rather, it's just going to lead to another connection to either like the Great Marsh or the Flare Jungle. So let's go ahead and start. We start right here, and we can see this is our first tile, right? We're in our 2nd tile right here. So we know that to the right, because we're on this left side, we know that to the right is going to be our entrance. And additionally, we know whenever we have this double bridge, our entrance is to the right. So this is going to take us to Spider Cavern. Okay, cool. So in the Spider Cavern, you just have some set maps. We've talked about set maps before, but you always want to go just down to the bottom here to get your eye, right? Every map is going to have it either right here. Sometimes there's a wall here and it's over here, but it's always to the bottom left. Then we can continue up, and okay, this is nothing, but this is our 3. So immediately we know our 2x1s, our 2x2s, and our 2x3s we know that anything kicking off left here has to be the Great Marsh or the Flare Jungle, because this is our second Spider Forest cavern, or Spider Forest tile, which is just empty. There's nothing in it. But this takes us to the Great Marsh. So we know that our 3 kicks left to the Great Marsh. Now we have this double bridge, so we go right again, and we have our empty tile. We're in our 5 now. Anything left would take us as well to the Great Marsh. And our 5 is just a straight through, so again, we have nothing right here, which means our only chance for a Flare Jungle now is off of our 6, and it looks like we're going to get it. How does it look like we're going to get it? Well, we're getting up towards our 6 tile here, and we have our 3rd entrance, right? We have our 3rd subsection, whatever it is. There aren't 4 subsections, and this thing isn't just going to take me to no man land from this. Thus, I know Flare Jungle is right here. Now, there are times when you can get a dead end there, but it's not going to be off of this straight. It's going to be if your 5 kicks out to the right and then goes up 1, and then it can run into a dead end. Or if I had only seen 2 of these tiles, the 3rd tile could have been right there off of the 6, and it would have been like a dead end up here with that, and I would have gone into there. Now, that being said, sometimes you will still have it where this tile will just connect up like this. So even if this isn't here, let's pretend this was on the 6 fully, I could just come right up and I would have a connection between the Spider Forest and the Flare Jungle. So it's always good to kind of check a lot of times if you do have a 6 tile, if it's just going to connect through, because sometimes you will have something like this where you're going to have, oops, let's just do our 2x6. Right, you're going to have this, and then you're going to have transparent, like, let's say like this, and then you're going to have like this again. And so how the map normally would run is you'd do something, I'm going to do red of like how the map is kind of like winding, and there, and then this would connect here, and then this would like connect over here, but you have your 6th, this is like a dead end, but your 6th tile is right here, and this is your 3rd entrance or subsection, and it may connect right up here. So it may have its own connection right through actually to the Flare Jungle, even though this connected over here, right? Like you can have, this isn't a great example because this actually wouldn't connect up here onto the 3, but let's pretend the Great Marsh was, this would be a better way, connected on the 3rd, and then like that. This would be how it would actually happen. So because you connect over on the 3, the 5 can connect over to the 1, and the 1 can then have a connection between here as well. So you can actually get a skip through there. So we have the Flare Jungle, and Flare Dungeon is left of the way you came in. Again, 1, left of the way I came in. 2, and then set maps, which I know 3 is my chest. So I don't even have to explore Flare Dungeon level 3. I know exactly where the chest is. Again, these are just things that you learn a little bit over time. So Flare Jungle, pretty set with that. We can go ahead and head to the Lower Kurast. Lower Kurast, of course, is amazing for farming and stuff. But Lower Kurast has 2 exits, one in the top left, one in the top right. Right? One on the left side, one on the right side. And you will actually know which way to go based on your cold plains. So my cold plains had the Stony field in the bottom left, which means I need to go this way. So if your cold plains connects to your Stony field in towards the bottom left or the top right, then your Lower Kurast entrance is going to be right here. If it connects in the bottom right or top left, then your Lower Kurast connection will be up here. Something fun to know. Kurast Bazaar, looking for the temple. You want to find the temple in the Kurast Bazaar that is facing to the bottom left. And that is going to be where Serena is, where you can get your book. So Lameson's Tome is right in there. And then your 2 sewers, of course, will be in the same spots. And in these sewers, it is often good to head to the head counterclockwise. Now, why do I say counterclockwise? The reason I say counterclockwise is because when you head counterclockwise, you have a better chance of running into this or running into the chest, which will tell you to turn around. So essentially, the only thing we know, sorry, I mean clockwise, excuse me. The only thing we know is that the sewer's entrance, which again, the tile is entering this way into this, is to the right of the chest. Thus, the chest is probably over here or in the center somewhere, potentially. We'll see. It looks like it's going to be a center chest. Interesting. So, how do I know this chest is going to be in the center? Because it's going to be left of the sewer's exit. So if I run into this chest, I know, again, let's see this whole tile. This tile, this is the back, thus it faces towards the bottom left, and right of that is our sewers. So, whenever I find this chest, I know immediately I need to go right of that. So if I find this chest right over here, then it's facing towards the bottom right, and that means I need to go to the bottom left. So I would immediately turn around and start looking for things like this. Now, of course, the hard thing about the sewers is sometimes it's in the middle. And so when you start kind of running out of options, you figure that out pretty quickly. You're like, oh, okay. That's that. Heading forward, Travancore is set. Durance of Hate is left the way I came in. Durance of Hate level 2 is straight across. And the waypoint is to the left. So straight across is going to be Durance of Hate level 3. And again, waypoint is somewhere to the left. And then Durance of Hate level 3 is obviously a set map. Act 4, let's hurry along here. Static clock, so we'll go quickly. Act 4, you have 3 exits. One in the bottom left, right over here. One in the right, essentially. That's going to be taking you right about here. That'll take you down this way. And one in the top right. So this is the third one. These are the only 3 places you ever need to check in the outer steps. Right? You don't need to ever check anything down here. You don't need to ever check anything up there. It is just right there, right here, or right here. The Plains of Despair has down here in the bottom right, which is the first one. Up here, straight across, which is the second one. And right up here in the top left is the third one. So again, takes away all exploration of over here, all exploration of over here. Of course, except in the case of finding Ishval. And the City of the Darned, good luck. There's not really anything except you just need to find it. It's just somewhere out there, and learning some of the tiles can be bigger or smaller can be helpful. River of Flame, there is currently nothing either here. You just know to go top left. You'll know some tiles, like this is always a dead end when you run across like this tile, so you don't need to actually cross this bridge. There's super chest up to the top left a lot of times. That's a dead end up there. And then when you get to something like this, you'll know, okay, this is going to be taking me to like the forge, right? When you have that split. Or sometimes it can lead you to false forges that are just kind of like dead ends or whatever. But pretty straight across. And then like we talked about in the Chaos Sanctuary, it is the basics there. Now, I guess before we get to the Chaos Sanctuary, we have the River of Flame. And you can actually know right here. Oops, excuse me. You're going to have right here. So we have like the fire. And if you have a fire, you essentially know that you need to go left. There's 3 different tiles here. When there's no fire, you need to go to the right. And that's going to be your correct path there. Then Chaos Sanctuary is plain simple, just like this. You know, your 3 things. And Act 5. If you have teleport, you don't really need any of that, but you know, if you don't, it can tell you which way to go. And Act 5, we have Bloody Foothills. So Bloody Foothills is set right here. So it's just going to be straight across all the way. There are things like that little narrow path always has that unique boss in it. Of course, you always have Shank right here. Place that there. Frigid Highlands will either go to the top right or the top left. And the first thing that you need to note is whenever you see like any stairs like this heading up to the top right, then you know that you need to go top right. That can help you there. The first boss, this Sharp-Tooth Slayer, will always spawn at the first barbs. So if you come across the barbs, then you know that, like, if you come across barbs the first time and you don't see that Sharp-Tooth Slayer, you know you missed one, essentially. Second barb's right there, third barb's right here. There are 3 of these connections across, and you will find the barbs in 1, 2, or 3, or 2 or 3 of them, right? Sometimes you have doubles, sometimes you have singles. Ariat Plateau is the same idea. It's going to be straight across with 3 connection pieces in the middle. And then you also do have like your pit and stuff, and you can know which way to go in your pit based on just like the way that this tile is facing. And this is just kind of, there's a few set maps with the pit, but we don't need to go over those. Those are pretty unused. So these maps are straight across. Crystalline Passage to the right of the Crystalline Passage is the waypoint, which again, we didn't come across it. Straight across is the Frozen River, and to the left is the exit. So to find this to the right, we're probably going to have to go back and around, and we do, and there we can find the waypoint for the Crystalline Passage. And to the left is the exit, which we will eventually get to, potentially, or it's okay, left of up here. There it is. Glacial Trail, you're going to have to the right, is going to kind of be waypoint, but it's on this down actually. So to the bottom is the waypoint. To the right is this chest. And then to the left, to the straight across is the Drifter Cavern. And to the left is the Frozen Tundra. So Glacial Trail, oftentimes you'll find this waypoint over here because it's to the down. Frozen Tundra, again, just straight across. Waypoint is somewhere in the middle of all that. And Ancient's Way, to the right of the way you come in, is the waypoint. To the straight across is the Icy Cellar. And to the left is the Ancients. Alright, Summit set. Worldstone level keep, level 1. Worldstone keep level 1 is random. You will be able to identify dead-end tiles like this and such, but overall it is a random placement of the map. Worldstone keep level 2. Once you find, again, there's that dead-end tile we talked about before in Act 2. Worldstone keep level 2. If you want to find the waypoint, a lot of times you'll run counterclockwise. If you want to find the exit, you'll run clockwise. So you can see I ran clockwise and I found this exit. And the reason is because the waypoint is to the bottom right, since the exit is right of the way of the waypoint. And Worldstone Keep, level 3 is random. Throne of Destruction is a set map. And the last ones to take care of are Nihlathak. So nothing right here. Halls of Anguish, you're going to have your exits right here, down here, and over here. And then Halls of Pain, you're going to have your waypoint over here is 1. Right down here is 2. And over up here is 3. And these will each correlate with where the exit is as well. Thus, if the waypoint is right here, the exit is down here. If the waypoint is right here, the exit is here. If the waypoint is up here, the exit is to the top right. So I know to go up here. And lastly, I am looking for which way Nihlathak is. Nihlathak is to the bottom left. I know that because the eyes are on this wall. If the eyes are on this wall, or the eyes are on this wall, it is that way. If the eyes are on this wall, or the eyes are on this wall, it is that way. So we know that Nihlathak is down here because of how the eyes are. And again, you can see, the different walls. Like there's eyes in other spots, but I'm looking at this wall, this wall, this wall, and this wall specifically. To find Lilith, she is left of the way you come in the Ubers. And that is MAPHACK in your mind, which hopefully, if you've made it to the end of this video and you've liked it, of course, you now understand how to MAPHACK this game in your mind without having to use all your little silly third-party programs that can get you banned. The game now has become a lot more fun. I hope that this was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, YouTube. Mwah! Saving Anya is set maps. So you'll just know. I can go like really fast. You will just know as soon as you come in which way you need to go. Right. This is just, I know that this map, I need to go around that path to get there. So these are just, you have to just learn the different maps. Same idea. Kisses to you all. Thank you guys for watching. Peace, YouTube.